Star Wars Battlefront Classic Edition is is so bad I got Philisophical by Bricky. I heard it is quite bad. I don't know the details. I wasn't that interested, so... But I mean, it's EA. Obviously, EA would f something up, so... I'm very interested in hearing what they fucked up this time.
Before we start this video, I want to thank today's sponsor, Audible. I'm sure you've heard of Audible. They are the best place to find the highest quality audiobooks, not just in the quality of the audiobook itself, but also in the narration and the ease of use of the platform. In particular, they have a wide variety of excellent thriller and mystery titles. Whether it's on a walk, maybe you're going to the gym, or like myself, constantly painting miniatures, it's always something to kind of really get your spine tingling as you're painting something or building something, and then you kind of stop for a moment and think, oh. In fact, considering that we're all Warhammer pills here, one of my favorite Warhammer thriller mystery books is called Bloodlines. It's a fantastic Blade Runner noir-esque cop story about a really rich lady whose son went missing, and yet, while they can afford an entire private investigation force, she goes to the normal schlub-like policeman guy and doesn't really seem to care much about why her son's missing. Intrigue. So if you want to get started on your audiobook journey now, go ahead and go down in the description to audible.com/Bricky or text Bricky to 500 to get going on your audiobooks now. Thank you very much for sponsoring this video, and let's talk about that game.
The only thing I heard about Star Wars Battlefront Classic Edition is that it takes so needlessly such a large amount of space on your fucking drive for no reason, given that it's, you know, the classic Battlefront games.
I want to make this extremely clear. Watch those wrist rockets. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Watch those wrist rockets, or I'm gonna be watching you. And it won't be a pretty sight when I find out you are some kind of clanker sympathizer.
Clanker? What?
Well, that was a kind of strange announcement, wasn't it? Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, the originals, being staples of my childhood, much like the real staples, and they, like that store, faded into irrelevance with time. Battlefront was at the height of my Star Wars fandom. I was young, loved the prequels because I was young.
I don't like sex.
And mostly adored the video games that came from them. Jedi Starfighter, Republic Commando, Jedi Knight, Bounty Hunter, Pod Racer, Rogue Squadron. I played that shit at the YMCA with those controllers that had the giant, stiff, bendable rubber casing they used to lock it down at a GameStop and other places. Star Wars was my entire childhood, not just from a cultural thing, but also from the entire video game point of view as well. And I look back at those flawed movies and games with a lot of love, especially considering the best thing modern Star Wars has put out is a television series about the random side character who dies in Rogue One. That being said, Andor is really good. One way out. But Battlefront 1 and 2 were at the fore, bringing us a huge volume of diverse locations, battlefields, and my personal favorite, the space battles, where you had to destroy various spots of an enemy capital ship from the outside or board them from the inside. Clone Trooper Bomber, my beloved. So I'm genuinely surprised that to such little fanfare, the remaster collection of the first two games, including brand new maps and heroes, is coming to Steam and console for roughly $40. This is being made by company Aspyr, who appear to have done various other collections such as the two.
I never understood why big companies will take a guaranteed hit and not sink everything into it. You know, you will make bank, why cut corners, especially in regards to servers. That is why. Because it's guaranteed profit, they feel like they need to put in as little effort as possible and, more importantly, the least amount of money and resources to guarantee the biggest returns. And they actually are fucking stupid enough to not realize that putting in more money would get them more profits back, because that's a risk compared to putting as little money as possible. They're just very out of touch and fucking stupid is basically the answer.
Raider remasters and updated titles for the modern day. It seems that their main job is to bring up old titles to modern machines and standards, as well as do development work here and there on mainline titles. So, I'm stoked. And I don't think nostalgia entirely clouds my vision here. I remember the game playing pretty well, having somewhat annoying voice lines.
Command post under attack.
Command post under enemy control. A command post is under Confederacy control.
Hostiles have gained a command post. Watch those wrist rockets!
But having great variety and class choice on both sides. But see, this part of the script is being written and filmed before the game has been released. I have a busy March, you know? I'm going to PAX East in Boston. I'm just trying to get ahead of my work. So I'm past Bricky, but I'm gonna hand this off to future Bricky and we'll see what he thinks of the re-release.
You have to admire the naivete, you know. There is something precious about having that. He still had that glint in his eyes, you know. Good times, huh? Weren't those, Bricky, when you didn't know? The innocence, the blessings of ignorance. Ah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Buddha, please. May Allah save my soul. What the fuck is this? Where's the justice in the world? Where sinners run free? Turns out I love talking about games with overwhelmingly in their reviews red or blue. If you haven't heard by now, Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection is basically the worst product that has come out in 2024. This might even include the terrible asset flips that are dumped on Steam simply because of the emotional damage this product has caused me. When I heard that the Battlefront games were coming back, I assumed it would be a version of the usual remaster, because with games this old, that would make sense. Bring those bitches up to 60 frames a second minimum, allow it to be 1080p resolution, also minimum, and allow it to have more streamlined options menus, and like, that's it. The minimum that can be done. But while I want to ask where from the depths of hell this product came from, hell is only a word. Reality is much, much worse. Do I create, does creating create like a private game, or does creating create like a game? Because this looks like I'm creating a private game. Oh God. Okay. I guess maybe I thought they would kind of, I didn't think that we would actually, this would be like it was 15 years ago. I thought there'd be a little bit more clearing it up a bit, you know? Okay, I have to, is there an add all? There is not. I have to add each individual map one by one. I had the wrong idea. I thought that I was playing, not really a remaster, but like, something modern. I am playing a port. This is a port. Oh, chat. Bricky, what did you expect? Guys, what do you mean, what did I expect? This isn't normal. It's the same game. It's literally the same two games, including the same menus, the same game creation, the same graphics, the same fucking frame rate. Oh, but thank God they added the console exclusive heroes to the game. Thank God we have I Can Make Her Worse added to our collection. I have this level of rage built up inside me that wants to be released, but I can't find a good outlet for it because it's saying the same thing over and over again, which is, it's the same game. But luckily, Oh, luckily for me and you, dear viewer, there are even more ridiculous things that somehow, over the course of 2 decades, they managed to make worse. For example, while the original games have extensive mod support, including custom servers, patches, and more, the new collection does not properly account for any of those and therefore are completely worthless. Secondly, do you know how large Star Wars Battlefront 1 is as a game? 3 gigabytes. 3. Trace, son. Do you know how large Star Wars Battlefront 2 is as a game? 4.3 gigabytes. Would you like to know how big Star Wars Battlefront Classic Edition is? It's 50 gigabytes. 50 gigabytes listed on Steam. When fully installed, it was 63 fucking gigabytes. 63 gigs for games pushing 19 and 20 years old. This product is 8.6 times the size of itself. It's even larger than Battlefront 2. The new one. It's larger than Elden fucking Ring. Miyazaki could fit at least 2 more swamps before this hits 63 gigabytes. And thirdly, this is an immense pet peeve of mine. Despite not adding basically a single new change to the options menu that's actually worth a damn, they did add a streamer mode. So they added one. Lovely. There's a streamer mode. For the uninitiated, streamer mode normally does things like hide your name, IP address. Well, you normally hide your IP address, but you know, sensitive information in a game. But most particularly, it hides your name in the video game so you're not hit by stream snipers. It's a combination to keep you safe and the people watching your stream and people trying to kill you in game. Pretty simple stuff. It also normally does something else, which is remove all copyright music from the game so you don't get struck down by the hand of God or worse, Disney. So if you're wondering why all of the Battlefront gameplay here is quieter than a church mouse, it's because they couldn't even do that right. And the game, like in the original, plays all the main themes you remember.
So what does the streamer mode do then in the game? Like,
Such as,
what the fuck does the streamer do? Does the streamer mode do then? What?
confrontation with Count Dooku, Imperial March, The Last Battle, The Wampa's Lair, Carbon Freeze, and Battle of Heroes. Don't forget Return to Tatooine. I know the names of these tracks because YouTube flagged all of them individually in my stream video on my second channel, which I co-stream at the same time as my Twitch. Check it out. We play lots of fun games that aren't this dumpster fire and games that know how to remove copyrighted songs in the streamer mode of the game. Sam Lake, that hack, at least had a goddamn setting for it in Control, and you didn't do it in your re-release of two 20-year-old games. I'm going to piss my pants. I'm gonna shit. My jorts will never be the same. And the icing on the cake, the final bit of this whole disgusting pile is that the game is $35. $35 for two games stapled together at 8.6 times the file size, no upgrades of any kind, and for two games you can still buy on Steam for substantially cheaper and with real mod support. You are paying...
What is the fucking point of this? What's the point of this collection? What's the point? What's the sell, right? When you sell a product, the product has to do something. Like when you sell a remaster or a re-release or a remake, you have to say something, right? Like this game remade the Lightning engine, right? Or the textures are higher quality. Or the game is completely remade from the ground up, so it looks modern, you know? Star Wars Battlefront Classic Edition is literally, you get those two games as a single package, even though you can already, Steam probably has already something like that. What the fuck is the reason to buy this product? I don't understand.
$35 for an inferior product and the privilege to only click one game on Steam instead of two. Brilliant. Actually, how much are the two games on Steam? So, hold on. Star Wars Battlefront Steam. Classic 2004. $9.99. How about Battlefront 2? $9.99. It's $20 for both games that are still on Steam right now that are superior products to the two games that have been stapled onto each other, and they charge an extra $15. They didn't even fix the bugs. I think I was getting bullet drop, which I can't really blame them for because that was just how it was, I suppose, but what? 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 This sent me into a spiral. Like it's a mentally damaging spiral. It's not a loop, it's a spiral. Like the whole product is shit, don't get me wrong. But when you look at the Steam page advertising
Cash grab, I guess. Maybe it was one of those weird rights disputes where they were forced to make something or else they would lose what was in the dispute. Every Fantastic Four movie was made for that exact reason. What the fuck? That's so weird.
in the game, nothing there really says that I was supposed to get what I wanted. Play the Star Wars Battlefront games, online and offline, in this definitive collection. The Classic Collection includes bonus maps that were only like console based at the time. Fight on the ground with all expanded hero roster, Lucasfilm's logo. That's it. That never did they say this was an HD remaster. Never did they say that it was fix the bugs or anything. They technically did not lie. And yet, and even though I want to call it a scam, I can't legally, because legally the word scam carries weight. So if I actually said it, I could be liable for dick and shit. But God, does it feel like it's a scam adjacent? We're off script, by the way. I don't have a script for this part. We're gone. We're flying off the seat of our pants right now, okay? Battlefront is the game you would remaster. Battlefront 1 and 2, the new ones, you know, the ones that were released by EA later, they've got their problems, don't get me wrong. But once you sort out all the weird loot box crap in Battlefront 2, like, that game hits. Not only is it a hit, it's got the good music, the big scale, all kinds of character options and different hero customization and choices, and it looks really good, it sounds good, and it has a shockingly high skill ceiling for some really good plays and players. Like, those games are good. And if you're going to remaster something like the old Battlefront games, you'd want to give it a genuine ass facelift. You know, you took two games and then you stapled them together, did basically nothing but gave them the old heroes from the console stuff, and then charged $15 more for it. That's what happened. They launched with 3 servers and no one could play. Maybe because they were realizing this was going to be a colossal failure, so they didn't rent out any goddamn servers for it. You know, I'll give them credit where credit's due. They were right. So it got me going down this whole rabbit hole. What is a remaster? Because when you think about it, you've got remakes and you got remasters, okay? So when I think of like the biggest remake of remakes, you think Final Fantasy VII. That is a remake of an exceptionally old game that is just a totally different video game. It's a different combat style, visual style, often different dialogue. It's just a completely
adjusted for the type of audience you would want today with like modern mechanics. That's literally the best way to do a remake, because it's a different game from the original, so it doesn't invalidate it. In fact, a lot of people played Final Fantasy VII Remake who never played the original, and they went back to play the original to see how it feels, or to complete the story, because the story is incomplete now, as of now. That's a proper way to do a remake. Resident Evil 2, another example.
Different game, but it's a remake of that kind of original thing. Then you have below that, remake, but still very, very faithful. And that I would go with something more along the lines of Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 2 is a bit more in the rebirth camp.
It is.
The game was
it very much is.
That stock camera angle Resident Evil style thing back when they changed the third person. Resident Evil 4, obviously, the original was a third person action horror and the new one is too, but it's still pretty darn faithful. You have the same characters, you have the same villains, a lot of the voice lines are the same, even if they do take a little bit of, you know, a little bit here and there with it, but the actual gameplay of the game doesn't have as much of a massive departure as a Resident Evil 2 or a Final Fantasy Rebirth does. Then you have your more traditional remaster. We're gonna buff this game up with new visuals, and that's about the farthest we're going to go. To me, I think of this like Halo 2 Anniversary Edition. The Master Chief Collection is its own thing, but Halo 2 Anniversary is a complete remake of Halo 2 with a better graphics, crazy new visuals for all the cutscenes, but the dialogue and the gameplay and all of that is just about the same. It's basically an identical game, but with a huge visual facelift. Then you have your just bump the graphics up. That we're thinking along the lines of The Last of Us remakes, and then also the Mass Effect Remastered Trilogy Edition. The Last of Us remake actually came with a lot of other impressive things like new options menu, accessibility features, some good stuff like that, but for the most part, it was just a visual facelift, and that's all it was. Mass Effect Trilogy basically did the exact same thing, and last but not least, you have what could basically be referred to as a port, or just bringing something up to modern hardware. I think of this like the Master Chief Collection, you know? Halo 3 and let's say Halo 4, also Halo Reach. All these games got a little bit of a graphical thing. They went from 30 frames to 60 frames or more, which is fantastic. And they also are able to run at 1080p minimum. But the biggest and most important thing is now you can play it on PC with its own matchmaking style. That alone is worth its weight in gold for a lot of people. Being able to play
exactly
Halo CE matchmaking in its own right, back when that was only some horrifying LAN network Ethernet cable abomination back then, that's enough. So we have these various types of remakes. The full one for Final Fantasy, the mostly full one but faithful for Resident Evil, the Halo 2 kind of rebuild, and then the more uplift, facelift ports, etc. So what the fuck is this even? This is not a port, because these games are already on PC. And
exactly like I said, there is no, you cannot even make a case for this collection. It doesn't make sense to buy it at all.
Already on Steam. This is not a graphical remaster because it's the same. It's literally the same. It looks the same. If there is a visual or frame rate increase, I did not see it. It doesn't add better options. You get your streamer mode, but that's worth dick. And that's it. That's it. I don't really ask for more rules in today's day and age, but I gotta feel like there should be some punishment for this. You're not gonna get anywhere with like a legal system, like, oh, this is against the law because of what, we're going nowhere with that. But Valve, god damn, I feel like there's gotta be some kind of precedent set here. And I think that's one of the reasons why in that whole Steam chart, there is no lie being told. You weren't tricked. We all thought it was something more than what it was, but the fact that what it was so dog shit still makes me feel like I was scammed adjacent. For legal reasons, this is a joke, asshole. So there's a bit of a lesson to be learned from this, I think. One, double check that your remake, remaster, whatever the hell this thing is actually what you say it is. Two, maybe we should talk to someone about this. Maybe someone should get in trouble for this. I would like someone to get in trouble for this, for making this decision. Remember that Unity guy? That guy who was like, we're gonna charge you for using Unity even after you paid your dues or whatever? That guy worked for EA apparently and wanted to charge you for like reloading your gun in Battlefield, and they fired him for being too greedy. I feel like somebody here needs the same treatment. And just, goddamn, there are so many remakes and remasters that are coming out right now, and a lot of them are worth the salt. There's definitely this issue, and this happens a lot in Hollywood too, where so many different movies are just being like, this is the old IP we had, let's pull it back, let's pull it in, let's use that old thing we had. And you're getting tired of the bringing it back to the old days, the Michael Myers redone Halloween movies. But sometimes when you do that shit right, when you genuinely give it the attention it deserves, it can be pretty good. I mean, Final Fantasy VII right now is hotcakes. Resident Evil 4 was nominated for a ton of Game of the Year awards last year, which I am maybe a little unsure about with the concept of like, is a remake worth getting that? But it was so damn good that I just kind of said, I swear to God, I've gotten to the point where Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection is so bad, I've gotten philosophical. What is a remake, truly? Huh? What is truly a remaster? Because it ain't this. Star Wars Battlefront, the original, they're great games. Genuinely, they're incredibly good games. When I was playing this horrible piece of crap, I was actually having fun. Not because the collection was any good, but because it's Battlefront, and Battlefront's great. It's classic, arcadey, fun Star Wars gameplay. And the fact that Battlefront 2 is no longer getting any kind of update and it's just kind of there to slowly die whatever death it's going to reach in a couple of years is pretty sad. And the fact that these games can't even get a genuinely real remaster is heartbreaking. For all the issues they had on launch, Halo the Master Chief Collection is an incredible piece of video game preservation.
True, very true. I will never say a bad thing about the Master Chief Collection just because I could play all of the Halo games on PC.
From a company that normally doesn't care about that kind of stuff. It is a shitload of Halo games that run on modern hardware.
I also can never understand how people like that greedy dude can keep falling upwards. It's because if you become a CEO of a company, you cannot fail. There is no way to fail as a CEO. As soon as you get fired, you get a severance package that will set you for life, and another company will come and offer you a job. Just because I don't know even for what. He was a shitty CEO. How the fuck is he getting a job? It's ridiculous. Probably mostly because CEOs are kind of fall guys. So if your company takes a big hit, if you fire them, it takes a lot of attention away from the shitty thing you did as a company. And part of why they get paid so much is that they tank the hit to their reputation or whatever, right? But it doesn't fucking matter because they keep getting jobs and their reputation among like gamers and people who consume that media doesn't fucking matter what we think about them because they will keep getting the jobs. It's capitalism and its consequences for the human race have been a disaster. I truly believe the CEO position in any company is redundant and you just shouldn't have people like that. They are there to be blamed for failure and nothing else.
That have good UI systems, that are not too expensive, and have active working matchmaking. It is the standard that I think a lot of games need to hold themselves to, especially considering how many of them are arriving and just dying immediately afterwards. The Battlefront games are being kept alive by a dedicated fan base and a modding community, and that's about it. These games deserve a real Master Chief Collection style thing, and I'm very worried that we're never going to get it. So, sucks for us, I guess, the consumer, again.
Yep.
For the however manyth time. That's all I got for you today. Just a philosophical rant from Bricky because the inner nostalgia and excitement I had for this was crushed. Thanks for watching. Next video will be better, I promise. Next video we'll get more into the fun stuff. I'll see you later. God damn! Come on.
Yeah, that's you know. That's just what being a consumer is. It's you have no impact on the thing you consume for the most part, and that fucking sucks. That truly fucking sucks. Remember when that Warner Bros, I think, as in their branch of that makes the video games, right? Remember that they said they're gonna focus on the live service games after Suicide Squad, the video game? After Gotham Knights, and like comparing all of that to things like, Arkham Knight, Arkham City, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, for example. Like, you compare all of those superhero games, the ones that are live service, like Marvel's Avengers, Suicide Squad, Gotham Knights, even though that one was kinda okay, it was fine, whatever. You compare those to the purely single-player experiences like Marvel's Spider-Man 2, fucking Arkham Knight, whatever. And the company looked at them, looked at the profits, looked at every data they have, and they said, we're gonna focus on live service superhero games. What the fuck is happening with this industry, man? Jesus Christ. That microtransaction money must be fucking crazy for them to even consider this. I don't get it. I don't know. I don't think Suicide Squad made the fucking money back. I don't think Redfall made its money back. I don't think all of those live service games like truly made their money back. So I don't know why they... I don't understand. Live service makes money and games as a service a ton of retention for players. That's true if they are executed correctly. Like Payday, for example. Destiny even is a shaky example, but it works. You know, Apex, Fortnite, all of those games, sure, they are great examples of that, but those other companies keep making shit. They keep making fuck all, shit all, piss all, the worst thing you can imagine. And they somehow, that cannot be more profitable than a good single player experience that they can deliver. They proved that. They literally delivered good single player experiences. I don't believe for a second that Suicide Squad made more money than fucking Arkham Knight. Like, there is no way.